I got to tell you about this morning. I've dealt with it half the week, fought with it, didn't want to preach, was getting ready to call Sydney and ask if he wanted to preach this morning because I didn't want to preach. Seriously. Can I be honest with you? Told God I don't want to preach, I don't want to say what you're telling me to say because I don't want to do it, God. And God said, "Are you the pastor of that church? Did I call you to be the pastor of that church?" And I said, "Yes, Lord." He said, "You better say what I'm telling you to say." So guess what? I've got to say what God's telling me to say. This morning I'm going to preach on 3 words. When Satan attacks. When Satan attacks. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but Satan is attacking harder now than he's ever attacked before in history.
Amen.
If you don't believe me, look around what's going on in our world today. He's attacking harder now than he's ever attacked before. He's doing whatever he can to cause us to fall. Cave in under pressure, divide us, conquer us. He wants each one of us to listen to things he plants in our minds. He wants us to come and lie. He wants us to have deceitful thinking, envy one another. He wants us to think that we've got it all under control because he knows that if you have pride, then he knows you're getting ready to fall. He wants people to turn against people, families against families, churches against pastors, husbands against wives, kids to disobey their parents. And he's causing these things every day that we live. It's not something brand new. It's something that's happening every day that we live. He wants people in churches to begin to sow discord and gossip and cause division. And Satan is on a rampage today. And I'm here to tell you something today from God's heart. And that is to watch out. And if you think you're exempt from this, then you're about to fall. Well, I'm exempt. I'm this. I'm that. No, you're not exempt from Satan attacking you or using you to participate in his attacks. Take heed when you think too highly of yourself, yet lest ye fall. So today, there are some things I want to make you aware of today. So please listen closely. You say, why? Because as you can see behind me, there is a roaring lion behind me. You say, why is he roaring? Well, if I look at this picture, or rather this picture that you're seeing, same thing, but if I see this one, this is going to scare me to death. Now, you say, why do I got a picture of a roaring lion up there? Well, let me show you why. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walk about seeking whom he may devour. Do you see now why I have a picture of a roaring lion and not a kitten? I don't know if it's Satan that's tempting you or trying to get you to fail, but it's not a kitten to me. He's a roaring lion that's trying to devour us. Sometimes people think that Satan is just so small, like a kitten. Well, Satan is just small to me. I can take him. He's nothing. I can toy with him. He's no big deal. It's not a problem. I'll just toy with Satan because he's just a little kitten. You don't know because I fought him so long and I am the stuff. Well, let me just tell you something. It won't be okay. No. You say, well, why did you put that up there? Because I want you to understand that word means a whole lot. Is it going to be okay if you toy with Satan? No. It's not going to be okay. Now you better stay with me because I've got some stuff I've got to cover today. And I don't want you to get discouraged because I'm going to take you down a journey and then I'm going to end it with a positive note. So stay with me. Satan is out to get you. Now, I did some research on lions yesterday. Well, not yesterday. It was actually Thursday. And then I made sure I was right on yesterday before I preached it. Lions have a parallel to Satan. They have some similarities. Look at this. Lions like to sneak up on their prey and surprise attacks in unexpected ways. Let me show you what a lion does. If an antelope or a buffalo or whatever they like to kill is over in this direction, they're not going to walk right up to it and say, hey, can you come over here so I can bite your throat and kill you and take you up in the tree and eat you? What a lion likes to do is he will get down to where he is flat against the ground in some tall grass or weeds that blend in with him. Have you ever seen a lion in the middle of looks like a wheat field? And it blends in with his color. And as that antelope sitting there, as that particular buffalo or whatever is sitting there, standing there, not paying any attention at all to what's going on. And they think the world is fine, everything's great in their life. They're drinking water, they're having a good time, and they're just sitting there slowly but surely. The lion begins to crawl across the ground. And let me just tell you something. Lions are fast for a burst, but they're not quick for a long period of time. So they're not going to jump out at you and chase you for 2 miles. But what they're going to do is get right up next to you, and before you know it, they've jumped on your back. And it showed a picture of a lion on top of an antelope, and it had jumped on top and had its mouth wide open, and it was fixing to grab it around the throat. Why? Because lions are not going to come just to nip at you and tug at you and scratch you. Lions are coming for the kill. Well, guess who else comes in for the kill? His name's Satan. He's not going to come to you and scratch you. He's going to come and try to kill you. And he's not just going to want to kill you. Do you know what else lions like to do when they're attacking like this? They're sneaking. Lions also like to devour a bunch of antelope at one time. So they're not just going to kill one. Sometimes they'll kill 5. And you know what happens? I was watching a clip last night. Has anybody ever seen when animals attack? Okay. I watched a clip of this. And it showed about 8, I think it was 5 to 8 antelope. And they were gathered in this place. And the guy gets on there, you know how he says, he's kind of, Australian or whatever. Oh my goodness. I'm not good at Australian. But he says, oh, this is going to be a beaut. And all these antelope were gathered around in this little pile. And he said, do you see the one in the middle? And I don't know who he was talking to. I said, yeah. And I'm into it, And the guy says, the one in the middle there, he's the leader. And he will lead the whole pack to do whatever they're, wherever they're supposed to go. Well, check it out. About 7 lions gather around on all sides and begin to circle this pack of antelope. And the biggest lion, it looked like it was one male and the rest of them were females. And the male lion jumped up after they had surrounded him, jumped up, and he didn't go for no other antelope but the main one. And as he jumped up out of the herd, he grabbed the main one, and guess what all the other antelope did? They stood there watching because, guess what? They didn't know what to do. And so all the other lions just pounced on them. They killed every one of them. It was an ambush, totally. And then it made me wonder, well, why does the Bible compare Satan to a roaring lion? Well, when I realized why, it's because Satan's not just going to attack one person. He wants that one person to affect another person. And that person to affect another person. He doesn't want you to just... Here's the deal. If you get discouraged about something, He doesn't want you to get victory over it. He wants you to go make somebody else discouraged about it too. Why? Because one discouraged person is not that big of a deal. But 15 of them can be a hard thing to deal with. So he sneaks up. He tries to go in unsuspected ways to devour his prey. Because a lot of times when people think they've got it all figured out, pride comes, and then they fall. Number 2, there's another way that lions do this. Look at this. Lions are also expert scavengers. Please stay with me this morning. I'm not going to be much longer. And obtain as much as 40% of their food. Now listen, 40% of their food comes by stealing it from other predators or finding already dead animals. You say, well, I don't quite understand. Well, let me put it in your terms. If a hyena is over here eating an antelope, I keep using antelope, but it's the easiest thing for me to talk about. If a hyena is eating an antelope by itself over here to the side, and has just killed it, then a lion can come out of nowhere and come right up, scare that hyena away, and take the antelope for his own. Okay? Does everybody understand that? 40% of their food comes by stealing it from other predators. Do you know what can be predators in your life? Your job, your family, your friends, your car breaking down, your marriage on the rocks, your finances giving you problems, your kids disobeying you, your grandchildren giving you problems, things you're upset about. These things can be predators. And guess what? Here's what happens. You're sitting there and all these things are causing you grief and causing you turmoil, just things that normally happen in life. And what happens is Satan begins to gather around and begins to look at the situation and sees that you're discouraged, and sees you're upset, and sees that you're having problems in your family, and sees that your finances are dropping, and sees your boss is giving you a fit. And what Satan does is he circles you as a roaring lion. Everybody seeing this? He comes around you, and what he'll do is he's not going to sometimes attack you and kill you for himself. He's going to attack you because you're already about half dead. Your problems, the things around you, your family, different thing that's causing you stress, you're already going to be about half dead, and then all of a sudden Satan comes up, sneaking around. And he preys off of you, and what's he want to do? He wants to finish you off. Because you're already about half dead. Now, look at the third way. Lions hunt mostly at night when it's dark and the moon can't be seen. Why is that so important? Well, when I was listening to the Australian, he said that what he did was he was watching these lions at night. He had his flashlight out, and he had it shining on this particular lion that was out in this big field. And he noticed that the moon was not out. It was a really, really dark night. He could barely even see sometimes, even with his flashlight. He was trying to watch. And he couldn't understand why the lion was out this late.